Hello, welcome back to Sketchbook Biology. Today we're talking about herring gulls and their extremely rude behavior of stealing fries at the beach. Now this bothers me deeply, of course, because for one, they really shouldn't be having fries anyway because it's bad for them. Not that it's good for me, but they're my fries and I don't want to share. The herring gull is a large coastal bird with a mostly white body, a pale blue-gray back, a yellow bill ending in a red tip. If you've ever visited a beach or a parking lot carrying a bit of food out in the open, you most likely would have encountered these birds. I say most likely because they really are very widely distributed across the northern hemisphere. They come in 4 varieties: the American, the European, the Mongolian, and the Vega herring gull. Now all of them are opportunistic feeders that eat anything they can fit their mouth around, from fish to fries to garbage. They're also loud and messy and as annoying as they can get. I do still love them. I get so happy when I see a bunch of them lose their collective minds over a piece of bread. Their behavior is very interesting as well. Animals that live in cities tend to be way more chill around humans than animals in the countryside. They don't run away as quickly and their bodies show less stress when people are nearby. And as these animals live closer to humans, they end up interacting with us a lot more often and they learn to recognize individual people, slowly picking up cues on how to adjust their behavior depending on the type of human they're dealing with. And all of this helps survival. That's how we ended up with dogs. And herring gulls like humans too, not because of love and tenderness, but because we are also messy creatures. We leave food out everywhere, and this is great news for scavengers. If you've ever driven past a landfill, I'm sure you've seen a ton of gulls just looking for food and having a feast. But in the past decades, we've seen a lot of these birds looking for food right in our towns and cities. Which means now they're gonna run into a lot more people that might chase them away, making access to food slightly trickier. But herring gulls like to test their limits. They're very brazen, very confident birds. They'll attempt grabbing food from a trash can, from inside a shop, and bolder birds might even try snatching food directly off somebody's hand. And there are a lot of gulls in our cities, people. So you can see how this can become a problem very quickly. I personally would not enjoy getting mobbed by a flock of flying rats. And a like-minded set of researchers, Rémy Céline Zikos, Laura Kelley, and Neeltje Boogert from the University of Exeter wanted to find ways to convince the herring gulls to keep their distance. Their previous attempt at deterring gulls involved staring at the gulls while food and potato chips or fries were present. The gulls that were stared upon took about 21 seconds longer to approach the food. However, most gulls in the study didn't try to take the food in the first place, suggesting that only a few bold individuals engage in theft of this kind. Also, if a gull successfully steals food once, it's more likely to try again. This behavior varies widely between gulls, so eye contact may not be foolproof. But the scientists are back at it again. This time they wanted to look at how herring gulls reacted to human auditory stimuli. They wanted to see if the gulls would back off if we shouted. I swear this is good science. Actually, this is my favorite kind of science. It's just plain fun. So the researchers traveled to 9 towns across the county of Cornwall, the southwestern region of England, between late February and mid-March 2025, outside of the gulls' breeding season. The researchers first filled a clear box of chips and disguised a speaker in a plastic shopping bag. When they found a herring gull, they placed the speaker in its bag on the ground and then shook the box of chips to catch the gull's attention and placed that also on the ground upside down 1.5 meters away from the speaker. Once the staging area was set up, the experimenter retreated about 8 meters away to record the bird with a camera. If and when the gull entered the experimental setup, the trial would begin, and the researchers randomly played one of 3 sound types for 30 seconds. The first of these sound types was a man shouting, "No, stay away, that's my food, that's my pasty." The second was speaking normally, "No, stay away, that's my food, that's my pasty." And the third was a control sound, which was a robin singing a song. It's important to note a few things about the audio clips here. They were all unique, they all had unique audio signatures. 5 dudes were involved in the human recordings, and all these clips were played at the same loudness. So again, for one trial, they tested one gull with one randomly chosen 30-second audio clip. And in this manner, the researchers tested 61 wild herring gulls. From the video recordings, the team then observed how the gull had reacted to the audio clip. Did the gull flinch? How long did the gull stay vigilant? Did they peck at the box or the plastic bag containing the speaker? How long did it stay in the setup area? How did the herring gull make its exit? And of course, the researchers took all this data and ran some statistics. Which statistics, I hear no one asking? Well, I'm going to tell you anyway. They used generalized linear models to compare flinching, vigilance, and pecking across the 3 sound types. They used generalized linear mixed models to analyze how long gulls stayed near the setup, since this varied by individual and location. To compare whether gulls flew away, walked away, or stayed, they ran a multinomial model to calculate the probabilities of those outcomes. And finally, they ran a Welch's t-test to check whether there was a significant difference in behavior between shouting and speaking. So let's get to the results. The gulls didn't react at all to the robbing song, but they noticeably flinched when they heard a man shouting or speaking. Both human voice recordings made them more alert and on edge, and they pecked at the food far less often compared to when they heard a robin. There wasn't much difference between shouting and speaking when it came to the flinching or vigilance. They were jumpy during both. Where the 2 human sounds did differ was in how the gulls chose to leave the experimental area. When they heard shouting, they were more likely to fly off. When they heard normal speaking, they tended to just walk away instead. Either way, the gulls didn't stick around for long when human voices were playing, especially compared to the robbing song, during which many gulls stayed for the full minute. A few gulls left and came back, wandered in and out, but overall the group treated both types of male human voices as a threat. The robbing song was basically just background noise to them. Collectively, all this suggests that speaking at gulls can stop them from trying to steal food, but shouting is more likely to make them fully abandon the area. It may not be the craziest experiment, but for me, it really is fascinating that these non-domesticated animals really pay close attention to human vocal cues. The study also raises some interesting questions though, like whether gulls respond differently to male and female voices, or whether they notice changes in pitch and tone. I was wondering why they hadn't tried out more voice recordings, and then I realized that if they were to add more audio clips, they're gonna need a lot more time, a lot more gulls, and a lot more effort. So this is just fine. And that is where we leave these noisy, messy, but still very cute herring gulls. A special thank you to Rémy Céline M, Christophoros, Zikos, Laura, Kelley, and Neeltje Boogert, and anyone else that helped create and publish this beautiful piece of science. And as always, thank you for being here. If today is your birthday, a happy birthday to you, but don't have your cake out on the beach. If the gulls have already found you though, you know what to do, just shout at them. But if you're just out there, thinking about that one YouTube video involving seagulls and laxative, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you guys soon.